and welcome to this session on proactive versus reactive incident communications. I'm Nick Coates, and I'm the Service Status Product Owner here at Broadcom. So before we begin the session, I'd like to ask a question, and then at the end of the session is take this question away and see if you can answer it. Does your organization communicate effectively during a major incident? So before we sort of delve into the session, I thought it'd be good to give you an overview of some of the topics that we're going to cover today. The first thing first really is to go through an introduction of who I am, sort of my background, an overview of Broadcom as well. We will then go into how Broadcom does major incident management. Because of the way the organization is divided and the amount of products that we support in different areas, we do incident management slightly differently to most typical organizations. I'll also go through our service status platform, which is the underlying incident communication tooling that we use at Broadcom to communicate to customers during a major incident. And also some of the tips and tricks on how we market our status page to ensure that customers know that they can visit the platform to know about service availability or whether there's any maintenance they need to be aware of. We also will go through measuring success. So how do we measure the success of our major incident communications here at Broadcom? And finally, we'll open up the chat to any questions and answers that you may have. So the first thing first is an introduction of who I am. That's me. So I am the Service Status Product Owner here at Broadcom, and I sit within our Customer Success organization. And I'll go through in the next slide about the overview and how Broadcom sort of is organized. And my primary role here at Broadcom is to deliver the roadmap from a technical perspective, but also from a strategy perspective as well, around our service status platform, which powers our instant communication tooling. So I work very closely with our products and engineering and ops teams, and also with my colleagues within the customer success organization. And there's lots of things that we're able to do with the tool, and we are making a huge impact as part of our case reduction and case deflection strategy as well. So I've been 9 years at Broadcom, or actually previously Symantec. Symantec was acquired by Broadcom last year. So I think in April, I hit 10 years, which is quite a long time. I've gone through various roles at my time at Broadcom Symantec. I actually started in our network operations center as an infrastructure engineer. So I was looking after monitoring several of our products. So my background, is fairly technical. And then I moved into a sort of technical lead role as part of our IT service management strategy, which we were sort of implementing as part of our ISO 27001 certification that the business was going for. And I was leading the service management rollout of that tool. So I was doing things like incident management, event management, change management, problem management, actually delivering training and doing the technical side of the tooling. And then a couple of years ago, I sort of moved into this role of pushing forward and building the service status platform. And I moved from our engineering and ops team over to our customer success team as well. I am an Atlassian Status Power user. I'm a huge advocate for instant communications, and the tooling that we use at Broadcom is Atlassian Status Page. There are other toolings that we use. There's obviously also other types of instant communication toolings out there. They all do an amazing job. We just go with Status Page because it meets all of our requirements. I'm also honored as well to be part of the MIM Board of Excellence as well. I'm also a huge advocate for community sort of volunteering, and I do a lot in my community. So I'm a sort of Beaver Scout leader here where I live in the UK for the UK Scouts. So every week I work with 6 to 8 year olds to help them gain skills for life. A lot of that is being done virtually at the moment, obviously. because of where we are and sort of what's happening. So that's been a challenge, but it's been nice to be able to use my technology skills to deliver and every week still work with these young people. I'm also county active support as well, so I look after some of the IT for some of our jamborees and some of the counties as well. And because of my community work, I was also or am a Princess Diana Award holder. So it's a huge honour to have received sort of the Diana Award many years ago as part of my community efforts as well. So let's go into actually Broadcom itself. So just to give you an overview of sort of Broadcom, and I just wanted to give you this picture and build this picture up about how Broadcom is organised, because it will help deliver and help understand why we do incident management the way that we do it. So essentially, Broadcom really is focused in two areas really. So two types of sort of product areas. One is the semiconductor business, so that's sort of the hardware side of the business. Then the other is the sort of software business. And then basically these are divided into what we call sort of business divisions. So the BU units. And we then have sort of the global technology organization, which really are sort of our IT functions, and they do a lot of shared services, work with our platforms, and provide us with all the technology that we need as a business to succeed. Then we have the worldwide sales and marketing organization, and specifically we have what we call the strategic customer success organization or function that sits in there. And that's actually where my team and where our instant communication strategy actually lies. And then we obviously have our shared functions such as finance and HR. So we're really only going to be focusing on sort of the software division, sort of the engagement with our global technology team and customer success. So this just gives you an idea that we're a huge organization, but I'm only focusing on our software incident management for the products that we support. So how does Broadcom do major incident management? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up our actual incident flow, our major incident flow for you, and talk about some of the technology that we use to manage our major incidents. So Broadcom, as part of our software division, we have a lot of products, that we're supporting, and we are trying to form, or I should say we, but the global technology organization. They're trying to build a common shared platform and a shared team that is able to look after our software, particularly our SaaS offerings, and actually be able to provide that sort of one area where they're going to be operationally managing that. And then from a customer success side, we are building sort of the shared function where we're able to support these SaaS products as well from, again, a shared service type of function. So there's sort of four areas that we really focus on. And one of them is cross-functional team collaboration to join a major incident, because of the way that our products are sort of divided into different product areas, and the architecture and the platforms run slightly differently. We do rely heavily on the cross-functional collaboration with our partners, from engineering to our SaaS ops team, in order to deliver our major incident management strategy. We're also primarily looking at automating where possible, because the organization is so huge, and also major incidents. The key there is the driver is to restore service as quickly as possible. So using automation is a key driver for us when we're going through our major incident management strategy. For us as well is we want to focus on customer-focused incident management. And later on, I will share with you something that we've done at Broadcom that really has helped us to deliver and be more efficient with our communications during a major incident. And that's actually forming an incident communication team that actually sits within the customer success organization. And I'll go through some of the reasons, and why we formed this team. And then finally is, our ethos really is to communicate within the first 15 minutes that we have identified an incident that is impacting customers and we know what the impact is to our customers. That first 15 minutes, is a huge, it helps us gain trust with our customers. So we aim to do within, the first 15 minutes. Sometimes that doesn't always happen, but that first 15 minutes, is a good target to go for. You could even say 30 minutes, is a good way to, is a good target to start with. In an ideal world, I would love to see us communicate, in less than 5 minutes. But that isn't where we are and we're heading at the moment. But for us, the real driver, of building our instant communication strategy and forming that, and having that as such a important part of our major incident, process allows us and enables us to ensure that we're gaining trust with our, customer base. Customers really, when there's an incident, I don't really, customers shouldn't be expected to go and find the information, go and maybe speak to their, account manager or even call support. Particularly for me, as an example, if my bank goes down and I'm not able to access, my account or do any transfers, I want to be told about that. I shouldn't need to go to Twitter and, tweet my bank. I shouldn't need to, pick up the phone and call through to a, support center. If there's an issue, for us there, it's making sure that we communicate and we're being proactive, rather than reactive. And really, our instant communication strategy, is part of sort of our case deflection, strategy as well. So actually being able to give customers the self-service tools they need to be able to get the support more efficiently, rather than raising a ticket, waiting for that to be assigned to, a level one engineer, and all of that. It's allowing us to give that self-service to our customers. So sort of now we've sort of gone through sort of the behind the way that we want to build major incident, particularly our communications. Let's actually go into what our flow looks like. So we have a team here at Broadcom within our global technology organization, and they look after a lot of our cloud products, from our semantic products through to our enterprise software products and to our payment security products. So they're this centralized operations team, and they are basically looking at different monitoring, all the monitoring that comes through. And when there's an issue, that team is there central. They're 24/7, and they're a global team. So SaaSops may be alerted of an issue with one of our products. So the first thing that they would look at is there a customer impact? If there isn't a customer impact, then that automatically would be raised as either a priority 2 or priority 3 incident. Now, if there is a customer impact, so i.e. it's impacting more than X amount of customers, or we're seeing huge delays in processing, to us that will be a priority 1 incident. So the teams actually have formed and built a type of incident classification matrix that basically says some statements, some symptoms that essentially says, if X equals this, then it's a priority 1 incident. What that will happen is that will actually trigger what will trigger our major incident managers to jump onto the incident, and they would then basically create an instant war room. So for us, that would be WebEx, and what the aim there is to get as much technical resource on as possible, but also from the customer side as well. So our instant communication managers, would be on that war room as well. Then what then happens then is when there's a priority 1 incident that's created, the technical teams, they're off, they're doing their investigation, they're looking at, focusing on restoring, the service. What we then have is an automatic trigger within ServiceNow, which I should say is the tool that we use at Broadcom to manage our incidents and change management and event management as well. So we in customer success also use the same instance of ServiceNow as our ops teams. So again, this allows us to be collaborative. This enables us to do some of that automation. So when a priority 1 incident is created, what we call an incident task is then automatically created, and it's assigned to the customer comms team, which are there to focus on the communication to our customers. That is an automatic trigger. So when there's a priority one incident, that task is automatically created within seconds or milliseconds. It's created. And then it's put into our queue. We also then actually have sort of a paging system as well. So this particularly we need over the weekend for our customer communications team. So within ServiceNow, when that instant task is triggered, it will then check the schedule, and it would actually call up the incident communication manager who is on call and who is on shift at that time. They would go ahead and they would acknowledge the incident within ServiceNow, but they also have all the information, or a majority of the information that they need within the tool. So they can actually go into the parent incident that our SaaSOps team, our major incident managers are working on. They can get the information that they need. What they would then do, actually, before I go on to that, I think I just wanted to highlight that these are two organizations. Even though we use the same tool and this is the same flow, these are two separate parts of our organization. So the actual technical incident and the restoration is done by the GTO, or the Global Technology Organization. Then the customer communications is done by the customer success team. So what then would happen then is the team, the customer success team or the incident communication team, they will go ahead and they will create a new incident within Status Page. So Status Page is the communication tool that we use for our incidents. And then what that then does is that automatically triggers our notification method to the customers. So the types of methods that we use is Slack, for example. So customers are able to get incident alerts into their Slack workspaces. We also have SMS as well. They can also use the API. We have webhooks. And the most common one is email as well. So as soon as Broadcom posts an incident related to a product that a customer is subscribed to, they will get the notification through one or all of these communication methods. So this all brings me back to our customer-focused communications. So as I said, Broadcom, we sort of created a dedicated team, and they are called internally the Cloud Command Center, and they are here to really focus on the communication, during an incident. And this team, they are pretty much the power behind our service status platform. We actually curate the content. We don't use a lot of automation when it comes to posting onto the pages. We want to make sure that the communication that's being publicly made available to our customers has the right terminology, has the right formatting. It accurately displays and portrays the impact to our customers. And this team is formed up of several incident communication managers, and they also sit within the customer success organization. And I work literally side by side with the team to help them obviously build out the platform, work with our GTO organization, with our incident process as well. So, some of the drivers behind building this team. So one of them, we wanted to enable our operations teams, our engineering teams and product teams, to really focus on restoring service and not having to worry about going out and communicating to customers. Or even internally, some of our exec team may want to know updates. So it's rather than having that, reactive where somebody is maybe messaging the major incident manager to say, where's an update on this? When's the next update? We really want those teams and those roles to be focusing on restoring the service, not having to worry about the communication. So our incident communication managers, they have a background in customer-focused roles. So, that's where they come from. They are obviously technical, but they can understand sort of the customer. And this is where, in an empathetic way as well. So, empathy, they can empathize with the customer when there's an incident. And they also know and understand the language that our customers use. We don't go into a lot of technical detail when it comes to our communications. A lot of our technical teams, many years ago, when we had internal platforms where we were communicating through alerts, there was a lot of technical information in there, and there wasn't a lot of, or you weren't easily able to identify what the impact is. So what we were ending up is our support and customer care teams, we're actually going to our major incident managers or going to the engineers during a major incident and saying, what is the impact? Because it wasn't clear. So the focus on communicating and not the technical restoration. So that is really what we're looking to focus on. So then we've now talked about our major incident management process. Let's move on to the actual service status platform behind the tooling. So our service status platform, as I've said, is powered by Atlassian Status Page. It's an always-on platform that provides curated communications around our service outages, performance degradation, and also maintenance as well, to help reduce customer calls and cases. And today we have 34 products that are live on our service status platform, and that's ranging from the semantic enterprise, the semantic security products through to our payment security and also enterprise software products as well. So actually, before we sort of go into that, I thought I would actually sort of give you a live show of what the service status platform looks like. So this is a publicly available portal. It doesn't sit behind any authentication. Customers are able to visit status.broadcom.com. And as you can see here, we have cards which display all of our products on there. And customers are able to see the status of the communication directly on here. So when there is, for example, we have a degraded service that is on here. So we can see this. So we know that customers can click on the web security service and they can see this. So you can, so after this, you'll be able to, go to our platform and see how Broadcom has actually gone ahead and created this. Okay, so let's move on to our, to actually behind some of the other parts of this. So how do customers subscribe? So we use a self-subscribe model where customers are actually able to visit the pages, as I've just demoed, and they're able to subscribe themselves and be notified either by email, SMS, or Slack, which we've recently just launched, and also the webhook API as well. And after subscribing, customers can then manage which are the products they need to be notified about. So again, let's actually head over to our platform, and just to give you an idea on what customers can actually do. So I'm going to give you an example with our RCOP product here. Is I can click onto the page and it gives me all the information that is available there. So at the moment, this product is is good, it's available. So customers are able to subscribe. So what I can do is I can add in my email, and then customer can go in and subscribe to the email. They're then able to actually select the components that they would like to be notified about. So we may have instances where customers provisioned on specific platforms or specific clusters or stacks. Now they would only need to know about the that specific stack having an issue. So what customers are able to do is they're really able to go in and do this all themselves. They can manage their subscription. So I may only just actually need to know about some of these. In fact, that's all I'd like to know about. It just maybe 3 of these components. And I can hit save. And similarly, customers can go in and they can do exactly the same for the SMS, Slack, etc. So it really gives us a self-subscribe model for our customers. So for us as well is what does that notification look like? So we've made sure that the information is clear, concise. Customers know where the email is coming from. So here we have is an example of the impact. So portal, we're getting login errors. We then have the impact and the components that are affected. And similarly with the SMS messages as well, it just gives you a flavor of what our notifications look like. So really behind the status page platform, we've actually rolled out templates. Templates are a lifesaver when it comes to communicating, and a lot of tools do have this. So for us, building these common templates actually allows us to, for faster messaging, actually to communicate to customers, in a much more quicker way, and also more efficiently. And what we've actually built at Broadcom, we built standard templates. And these templates are quite concise. So, for example, the instant title here, we can see we know what is the product's name, what is the component, and what is the impact. So when customers receive that notification, they know exactly what is the product that's related, what part of the product is potentially having an issue, and what is the impact. And then within the actual content itself, we focus on what the impact is. We don't go into too much technical detail. And then finally, we also commit to providing updates. So we would actually say, in this case here, we will provide an update, once we have more information available. For us at Broadcom, we will not go in and we will post an update with the same messaging. This is one of the things that I've really wanted to focus on, is ensuring that we don't bombard the customers, we don't annoy and frustrate customers, because all we're sending is the same messaging during an incident. If you do not have any updates, then I don't see the reason why you should be posting. As a customer, just tell me, when do I expect the next update? If that update it doesn't have anything useful, then don't tell me. So I'm just going to give you an example now. So one of our instant communication managers, who I believe is sort of tuned in, she actually put together sort of this timeline, and this to me just demonstrates some really great content that could be used during an incident. So one of the first things that we would look at is the investigating stage. So this is what we call the initial posting. So some of the terminology here is, we're aware that customers may experience an issue. So directly there, we know there's an issue with webhooks, and the webhooks aren't processing correctly. We can see that, it's currently being investigated. At no point here do we mention the company name, do we mention any team names, have we gone into too much technical detail. Then we go into an update. Okay, so this is just an update here. So you would go in and you would give the more details, and then you'd actually commit to the next update, and you would say we're going to provide an update on this date and this time. Then you start going into identify. So at this stage, we've identified. When I say we, could be our engineering team, could be our ops team. We've identified the issue, and again, we're committed to providing an update. And then actually there's an update, and this is a good update because it has new information that's available for our customers. So customers are able to look at this and they can see. Finally, the incident has now been resolved. We go into what we call the monitoring stage. With technology, anything can happen. So having this monitor stage, it gives us that buffer that if the incident does recur again, say within 30 to 1 hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour, then we're able to move this back to identified or investigating. And then finally, we would then go into the resolved, and we would just post a little update with a resolution message. So this really gives you a good timeline and some of the templates that we've used at Broadcom. These templates are incredibly clear, and the content is there and gives customers the information that they need. So we have this amazing platform, but what's the point of the platform if customers don't know that the platform exists? So at Broadcom, we've done what we call the marketing, sort of a marketing project that will allow us to market this internally and externally. So one of the sort of most common ways that we can market our pages is actually through our employers themselves and through sort of their signature. So we basically included this banner for customer-facing employees to add to their email. It links to the status page or to the service status platform. And particularly, this is really useful. For example, our customer success managers, our sort of customer adoption managers, etc. This allows them, when they're emailing customers, to give customers a reminder that they can subscribe to the platform. We also have a prominent cards on support.broadcom.com, and I'll go in and show you that shortly as well. But we actually, on our support portal, which is available to customers and is a it's a real driver for the self-support process. So we actually have links on there to the status page. And then finally, this is one that I'm really excited about, and we are doing more work with our product teams. I've got an exciting project coming up with one of our iOS and Android apps, and that will allow us to put the status into the apps themselves. And this is actually integrating into our products. So, as an example here, we have our email product, which has its portal, and we actually can have service alerts, and it tells customers, and they can click on there. We also have a banner message when there's scheduled maintenance or when the product is having an issue. So we're really working on integrating our pages to ensure that customers know where they can go. So we have all this great work that we do, and we do a very good job at being very proactive to when we communicate. We want to make sure that we provide customers with the information that they need upfront rather than being reactive. So we're waiting for customers to tell us that there's an issue, or we know that there's an issue, but we're not going to do anything or tell customers anything until they call in or notify us. So how do you measure success? So I'm just going to go through two examples that we use to measure the success of our major incident management process when it comes to communicating. So we have a monthly report on how many subscribers we have across the platform. So subscribers obviously are key. They are the people who need to receive the information. For us, we have a multitude of ways that customers can be notified. So for us, particularly for me, this line, I expect to go up every month as we do more of this marketing and as we onboard more of our customers as well. So we can see here this increase. If we are increasing, that's a good measure for us to see that the pages are doing their job. And between sort of like July, August, we saw a big jump, and then similarly with September to October. But that's because we also onboarded more products as well. Another way that we market this, is with our product teams. They can see the success that we're doing with these pages and our platform. And then this, for me, is just a fantastic way to actually measure the success. So this chart, this chart here, is an example of an incident, a major incident that happened to one of our products. And what we were basically seeing is an increase in customers raising tickets and contacting our support team, during the major incident. And what this really shows you is sort of the yellow sort of graphing is how many tickets are being created at that time. And you can see that we peaked around sort of 21:30. We peaked at our maximum level of cases. But then you can see that when we started to post, so our initial posting at 21:56, then we did a second posting, a third posting, etc. You can actually see that the case volume decreased, but the orange line chart, that was increasing, and that was our page views. So we can actually see, and we can tally up between how many users are on the page at that specific time versus how many cases are getting. So we can actually see here that the postings actually reduced the amount of cases and calls that we were receiving. So you can see throughout the whole of the incident lifecycle, for this particular major incident, you can see that our page views were decreasing, but the page views were higher than our cases that were in there. And for us, that really tells the story about what we do and why it's so important to be proactive with communications rather than reactive. And I will now open this up to sort of any Q&A. And thank you to everybody who's listened and watched my session. I really do hope that this gives you some ideas, some takeaways as to how you can improve your customer communications. Really think about your major incident process, and is communications a big part of that? Is that a big output of your major incident process? So you can follow me on Twitter, Instant Ninja, and on LinkedIn. You can search Nicotes, or again, my username on there is Instant Ninja. And I'll be more than happy to talk to you and collaborate on how we can improve customer communications across the industry. Thank you very much.